Today on How to Drink, I'm headed back into Cyberpunk 2077, making a couple more drinks to be served at the afterlife. The bar in Night City, where those solos who are legendary, who go out spectacularly in a blaze of glory, will have drinks named after them, forever immortalizing their fame and notoriety. A lot of people have been asking me, ever since we started doing these episodes, to do a drink for Adam Smasher. Adam Smasher is one of the primary antagonists in Cyberpunk 2077. Might be considered the big bad, or one of the big bads that you fight at the end of the game. He's a fully borged out mercenary in the employ of Arasaka, famous for his unscrupulous and murderous nature. In the tabletop version of the game, he would refuse jobs if there weren't opportunities for massive amounts of collateral damage. I know that you kill him in Cyberpunk 2077, but officially, I don't know that he's dead. That aside, let's assume he's dead, and he now deserves a drink at the afterlife. He is a horrible person. He is a monster, right? But the afterlife's not for good guys. It's for legendary solos, and everybody knows the name of Adam Smasher. But I'm also going to do a drink for Morgan Blackhand, who gets mentioned in a couple lines of dialogue in Cyberpunk 2077. He's a legendary solo from the tabletop game, just to fill you in, and like the built-in foil against Adam Smasher. Smasher's whole deal is Morgan Blackhand is much more natural. They were kind of set up as counterparts to each other. If I'm not mistaken, you can ask about a Morgan Blackhand when you go to the afterlife in Cyberpunk 2077. Claire lets you know that he's not dead, as far as anybody knows, so there's no drink named after him.
Morgan's yet to make up his mind if he's dead or still kicking.
Well, maybe he is dead. Let's start with the Adam Smasher. We're gonna get right into it. This drink is shaken. It's a variation on a kind of a smash, too, as you would expect. So we're gonna take a lime to start this drink. We're gonna split it in half, right down the center like that, and then take the half you have and cut that into 4 quarters. Doop, doop, doop. Take that and throw the whole thing into your shaker. A lot of times when you muddle a drink, you'd wait till there's more ingredients in there, but for this one, because of some of the ingredients we're gonna add, I just want you to crush those limes right now. So the next ingredient is a little bit of molasses. Yeah, that's a weird ingredient for a cocktail. It doesn't come up a lot. Why am I using it here? Well, Adam Smasher is this whole metal over meat thing, and I wanted this drink to be kind of like full of like motor oil and iron, and molasses has a lot of iron in the flavor. You have to free pour this though, because if you put this into your jigger, it's really hard to get out. I'm gonna say this is 1/4 to 1/2 ounce of molasses. Now I wanna add 1/4 ounce of Jagermeister, sticking with our whole motor oil theme. And now we want 1.5 ounces of Japanese whiskey. I happen to have this bottle of Akashi. I would also encourage you not to spend a ton of money on this. I don't think Adam Smasher actually cares about wealth or ostentatious displays of it. He's mostly interested in killing people. I also think that the Japanese whiskey is just sort of a theme thing, you know, because he works for Arasaka. We're gonna crack some ice and shake this drink up. You wanna make sure you really shake this drink because molasses does not really wanna blend or dissolve with other things. Just dump the whole thing right in there. I hadn't really given much thought to a garnish for this. I think it's fine as is. Adam Smasher just wants a glass full of crunchy motor oil. Let's see how it is. It's really fun. I love this drink. First impression, molasses, lime, and Jagermeister produce a reasonable facsimile of like imitation Guinness or some other slightly bitter stout. I know that sounds crazy, but it's got some of that flavor profile. I don't think it's an undrinkable drink at all. Actually, I think it's quite approachable. It's not overly sweet, it's not overly tart, it's really well balanced. In the way that it is sweet, it is a dark sweetness from the bowels of Arasaka's cybernetics laboratory. I mean, it is funky. I really enjoy it. And actually, it melds with your Jagermeister in a way that tempers the Jagermeister, which can be really kind of overly sweet, cloyingly sweet, kind of gross. It turns down the volume on all of the absinthe that is normally there. The Japanese whiskey is really mild. I'm not gonna lie, that particularly doesn't cut through very strongly here. I think there's an argument to be made that you could modify this drink a little bit with something like a more Islay Scotch, but we're doing that for Morgan Blackhand, so I wouldn't do it here. You could elaborate this drink. We could make a improved Adam Smasher, but this is a very simple 3-ingredient drink, right? 3, Jaeger and lime, so maybe 4 ingredients, right? 4-ingredient drink that I could definitely see bartenders churning out at the afterlife. What would Night City's resident mixologists do with a new twist on an Adam Smasher? I'm suddenly intrigued. I'm gonna go get some stuff. So I don't have a recipe planned. I have ideas. Let's make an improved Atom Smasher. We're gonna start with, of course, our quartered lime. I feel like that's kind of a non-negotiable element of this drink. Throw that into your shaker, muddle that up. I was looking for ingredients and I grabbed off the shelf these Ella Macule Tiki bitters from Bittermans. I haven't used these in years, but I'm a huge fan of these. I think 2 dashes of these will be nice here. They are cinnamon spice, allspice. It reminds you of Coca-Cola without any sweetness in it. I think we want to do half an ounce of Wray Nephew overproof. This will bring some real, maybe hogo is the term, some real funk, some Jamaican chutzpah to this cocktail. I thought Ancho Reyes, we could throw a little spice in here, a 1/4 ounce of Ancho Reyes. That may end up kind of disappearing into the drink, but that's okay. We need to have our molasses. Since we have some other sweet components in here now, we're gonna go a little lighter on that. That's about a 1/4 ounce, I think. Let's throw in 2 ounces of our Japanese whiskey. We have a lot of other new flavors in there. We wanna kind of stretch them out and balance that. I want to set that aside for a moment. This is the glass I'm going to serve it in. I hope this works out well. I'm gonna take some tahini. Tahini is a blend of spices and lime and stuff. I'm gonna do half a rim. There's my tahini rimmed glass. Take the drink itself and shake it. I saw this snake cocktail pick that I bought for some other episode. I felt like we should use that. Snakes, snakes. I used to joke with my wife about the particular kind of heavy metal that I call snake metal, which isn't white snake, but like for guys who are really into tattoos of snakes. Yeah, it's not white snake, but it's also not white snake. So take your cherries and stick your cherries right on there. Okay, let's go without the tahini. You do taste the spice, that's crazy. This has got a spicy front end, still that lime molasses sweetness. We got a little funky notes in there. That's not terrible. I think this could be refined a little bit more. I think our molasses was a short pour. I will do that. Now let's see if that's any better. That punches up our earthy ironiness to it. Yep, so make it a half an ounce, not a 1/4 ounce. Let's try it with the tahini. Nah, the tahini's a mistake. That overpowers the drink in an unpleasant way. Oh, you know what? There was no Jaeger in there. I knew something was missing. I wasn't really detecting strong Jaeger notes in my own Atom Smasher a minute ago. I thought, oh yeah, that's like synthesized into other flavors. But now when you taste it back to back, you really do taste the absence of it. So let's just see what happens here. Throw that half ounce of Jaeger back in there. Oh, that was missing big time. All right, yes, this is the improved Atom Smasher. Wow, it's kind of crazy how much Jaeger I had to this drink. It's not crazy because Jaeger's a loud flavor, but like Jagermeister, the essential ingredient in a cocktail, I don't believe it. But it is. That Jaeger and molasses combo, they really work off of each other. There's something about what's happening in there that really grabs onto the molasses and lifts up and loudens its ironiness. Jaeger is so overpowering normally, not here. Kind of falls into this funky, rummy hole that is just down at the bottom of the devil's basement. And then that segues into a final note that is the tiki bitters, which have this allspice, really clove kind of finish. There's a lot of clove, allspice, maybe a touch of cinnamon on the outro here. I don't think you need the chili liqueur. I think you can scrap that, and I think that the tahini rim is a mistake. However, on the whole, this drink pleases me more. There's nothing left to add on my improved Atom Smasher. There's nothing left to take away on the regular Atom Smasher. One extra evolutionary note wouldn't be a bad thing in any cocktail. I had no idea, no plan, no earthly notion that this was gonna be a workshopping episode. Oh yeah, a couple dashes of those tiki bitters in there really transformed that drink. Wow, forget this guy. Although, take the cherries. Those are great. Just throw tiki bitters into the regular Atom Smasher for the improved Atom Smasher. All right, well, let's find out if metal really is better than meat when we make the Morgan Blackhand now, although I'm gonna eat this cherry first. Just like millions of people all around the world, I sleep, and I'll bet you do too. Yet the question remains, how should I do it? Sure, I could sleep in the nest of a giant eagle, or under a rock, or in a hollowed out tree in a haunted forest, but personally, I choose to use a mattress, and Thankfully, Helix Sleep is the sponsor of this episode. Helix Sleep makes premium mattresses matched to your needs, and they ship them right to your door. You might be asking, matched to my needs? How could they possibly do that? Well, let me assure you right now, it doesn't involve witches, the studying of entrails, or moon phases, or blood sacrifice. Instead, they use a quiz, and it's a simple one, too. You just answer a few questions, and they match you up with the right mattress for your sleep type. Since they determined that I am a semi-side, semi-backed sleeping hybrid, Helix has paired me up with a mattress that they call the Midnight Lux, and I couldn't be happier with it. A couple years on now, and it's still sleeping strong. And since Helix Sleep offers a 10-year warranty, that's not the end of the story on my mattress either. If, however, I wasn't immediately thrilled with my mattress, I wouldn't be forced to resort to casting runes or brewing potions or carving hexes into a sheet of lead while ensconced deep within the bowels of a plutonian sepulcher that's filled with the intoxicating fumes of a volcanic fissure. I wouldn't worry about it because they offer a 100-night sleep trial to test out the mattress and make sure you love it. If something like the Midnight Lux doesn't sound quite as opulent as befits a dread emperor such as yourself, you should take a look at their newest Helix Elite line. It's a whole collection of 6 new mattresses that are suitable for a most sumptuous bacchanalia. Now, if you find the prospect of sojourning over to a local mattress seller and dealing with the process of in-person mattress buying and selling, and then the hauling of it home to be odious to the point of revulsion, I've got good news for you. With Helix, the mattress comes right to you. It's shipped right to your front door, rolled up neatly in a box like Cleopatra in a rug. Except that, unlike Cleopatra, when you release the mattress from the box, it will quickly fill with life-giving air and puff itself back into perfect shape right before your very eyes. Thank you to Helix Sleep for sponsoring this video so that I may dispatch this missive of tremendous import to all of the anyones who are anyone. Visit helixsleep.com/howtodrink to get 20% off your Helix mattress plus 2 free pillows. You should keep an eye on the Helix website this month because they have some holiday sales popping up throughout November, so this is a great time to upgrade your sleep. And now, back to the show. We're going to start with 2 dashes of chocolate bitters. Chocolate mole bitters. These are spicy chocolate bitters. I really like these, so we're going to throw a few dashes in here. Bitters that come on an eyedropper are a little bit complicated to get dashes out of. A dash should be like 30 drops. If you think about how much comes out of a dasher top when you dash it, that's a lot more than... Honestly, I think I probably need another splash. One more. There we go, just for safety. Just the safety splash. I need a half an ounce of maraschino. Now you need a 1/4 ounce of a bitter aperitif. The famous one, of course, is Campari. And I did a version of this with Campari, and it was fine. If you have Campari, use it. Then I said, you know, I do have this Americano Brut from St. George. They sent it to me in the mail, to be fully transparent. I hadn't had any reason to use it before, but I was like, let's try it out. I liked it a lot better. This has a lot more herbal notes in it than Campari. I will say that the drink works with both. There's a lot of drinks where there's no substitutions allowed. If a drink calls for chartreuse, you can't mess with that. We're gonna do a 1/4 ounce. I want a 1/4 ounce of Lafroig. I, as an American, pronounce that as Lafroig. I have been told that it's probably closer to Lafrog. Lafrog. Any heavily peated Scotch will do here. You want something that's got some smoke, peat, and iodine on it. Something that tastes a little bit like Band-Aids. I wanted to build this drink around Scotch. I don't know why. I just got a Scotch vibe off of Morgan Blackhand. And of course, Black Label is the way to go with a Morgan Blackhand. 1.5 ounces of Black Label. I suppose a Mr. Blue Eyes drink would have to have Blue Label. We're gonna stir it up now. I was building this off of as like kind of a riff on a drink called a Left Hand cocktail, which is a variation of a Boulevardier. That's kind of how I came up with this. I'm thinking Left Hand, Black Hand, kind of thinking that there's also a Right Hand cocktail. Oh yeah, now I'm remembering why Scotch. Because the Left Hand is bourbon. The Right Hand is rye, I think. And so I thought, well, the Black Hand might be Scotch. Some people in the comments know a lot more about cocktails than me, and they're like, oh, I see what Greg's going for there, and they will clarify what I meant when I said that whole thing about the left and the right hand. I may be a professional YouTuber, but I am an amateur mixologist. Strain that drink into a coupe. I love this coupe, by the way. This is like my favorite coupe ever. This glass and all of the glasses on the show are provided by Whiskey. Whiskey makes beautiful glassware. They're a sponsor of the show. If you use the link in the comment below or up here in the corner and use code HowToDrink15 at checkout, you'll get 15% off. You're here, you probably make cocktails, you need glassware. They sell beautiful glassware. Go ahead and check them out. Oh, I love that. It is not often that stir drink, a classic cocktail, a cocktail that's not a variation on some version of a sour, something that has no citrus in it. It's tough to nail those, honestly. Like, most of those have been figured out, in my opinion, and there's not a lot of space to operate in. Just the right amount of smoke and peat, just the right kind of balance between sweet and dry. Can't say sour, there's no sour in this, but sweet and dry. The maraschino that is in there provides kind of like just the right amount of sweetness. I can only describe maraschino as a fascinating flavor. Honestly, it's so hard to compare it to anything else. It is its own unique thing, and it's so enticing. If you don't have a bottle of that, get a bottle. It lasts forever. If you're interested in mixology, look into Amaros, liqueurs, modifier spirits, because they're going to expand your repertoire and the things you can do dramatically, and they're going to last forever. You don't buy a bar, you maintain it. There's only 12 2-ounce pours in a 750 milliliter bottle of base spirits, which means you get basically 12 cocktails out of a bottle of whiskey or gin or whatever. So, like, you can't just buy whiskey and gin, you have to maintain it. You're gonna run out probably pretty quick. Whereas these modifiers, they do kind of like last a really long time. It takes a while to run out of a bottle of maraschino. Back to the drink, truly a delight. It is got this bitter, kind of dry, dark chocolate note right up front. That's like the first thing you get. Slides into a rounded out sweetness from the maraschino, which is so hard to describe. To call it cherry flavored, I think is a mistake. I mean, like, it's cherry flavored in the way that, like, burning cherry wood in your fireplace or fire pit. If you've ever, like, made barbecue and used cherry wood, you might understand what I'm trying to say. And that gives way to this, like, smoke stuff, right? Like, we get that Lafrogue, that deep smoke, that iodine smoke, that salty sea Band-Aid kind of smoke. And it's really nice here. And you get that married up with that bitterness, that herbal note from the St. George. I truly like this drink, and I submitted it as a Blackhand cocktail. Before I tasted it again, because I had this the other day when I was workshopping the recipe, I thought, you know, a twist of lemon might be nice there. I no longer think that's true. I think a twist of orange might be nice there. Again, I made this drink. I had no plan for any kind of a garnish, and there we have a orange twist on our Blackhand cocktail. Very much a welcome addition. It sweetens up the chocolate note just slightly. The orange and the dry chocolate kind of produce a sweet orange chocolate together. You still get that nicely balanced smoke. I find smoky peated things can be really overpowering, but here we have a 1/4 ounce of it. We're using it like a modifier spirit, which I think is a great idea for those kinds of things. Those peated scotches, those mezcals, use them in small amounts. Smoky, chocolate, maraschino. This is perfect. I wouldn't touch this drink. The bitterness from the Campari / Americano Brut really balances the drink. It's grounding it. It would almost be too Manhattan-like, too sweet, too mellow without it. This is like almost like a smoky Negroni, now that I'm thinking about it, like a smoky chocolatey Negroni. It's in that space all of a sudden. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. I'm a joyologist. You're definitely not gonna throw this down, but any drink that's served like this probably is a sipper. The Blackhand cocktail. I'm very happy with both of these. The easier one to drink though, I won't lie. The Blackhand, the Smasher is a more approachable drink. The Blackhand is much more refined, much more reserved. It's a more careful individual who takes his prey alive. The Smasher is easy to run up on and it'll blow your brains out. Yeah, that's basically where they're at. I think we nailed it. I'm very happy with these. There are other characters in Cyberpunk that people want drinks from. I am, obviously, Phantom Liberty did just kind of come out a few weeks ago. I'm working on a drink for Solomon Reed and for Songbird. If you have ideas, let me know. Those are difficult characters for me to work on. Solomon Reed orders gin and tonics. That doesn't leave me with a lot to work with, honestly, as Solomon Tonic or something like that. A lot of people have suggested that I do a drink for Rogue. That is definitely something to consider in the future. I've done a lot of Cyberpunk drink episodes at this point. I've got a whole playlist of Cyberpunk drinks. I'm gonna link to it all over the place, so check it out if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, if you want to make suggestions a really very great place for you to throw drink ideas at me if you have ideas for a Solomon Reed or a Songbird, because I'm at a loss on those, is in my Discord. And you would get access to my Discord through the Patreon. We have a Patreon that supports the show. I hate to ask people to check it out, but there is other content there. There's like vlog content, there's studio development content, sometimes there's deleted scenes there. And of course we have a Discord where I am and where a lot of our supporters are, and we get into it, man. We have conversations, we talk about drinks and stuff. So if that's interesting to you, why don't you check it out and use the link in the pin comment or up in the corner or wherever it's at. And anyway, I will see you soon on another episode of How to Drink. Choose.
Meat versus metal.